Hi everyone, Michael from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au. So I apologise for the quality of the camera work, but I've set up a bit of a camera in the car, and look, you know, I'm going in at ridiculous o'clock, so there's not much light, so things are a bit grainy, so I apologise for that. But people seem to like these musings of a bullion dealer, and doing them early in the morning is really the only time I get. So look, I've been thinking quite a bit. I come in from regional Victoria, so I have quite a long journey into town before I hit street lights. So I've got quite a bit of time to think by myself in the dark. And I've been reflecting, it's only midweek, but I've been reflecting on this week. It's been, unusual is the wrong term, but it's been unusual in that I've had several customers approach me this week in various forms about their stacks and transitioning to the next phase of their life. So these customers are longer term customers. They started buying with us start of COVID-ish, so kind of that 4 or 5 years ago. They'd investigated precious metals and worked out how it was going to be a part of their investing future, and began their journey. And they've been fairly regular customers with us over that time. You know, not buying every single week, but certainly buying consistently over that time. And they have come to me to talk about, you know, what's next. And one of the really fascinating things all the customers have said to me is, when I bought into gold and silver, it was at all-time highs. You know, there was a lot of excitement around it. And I can remember particularly one of them, not cornered me, but tried to corner me on, you know, is this price, is it ever going to go above this price? Am I buying right at the peak of the market? And I have to admit, I did my usual dance around of, you know, not committing to setting prices, because all you do is set up people's expectation. And you'll guarantee, like Murphy's Law states, if you buy today, it will go down tomorrow. If you sell today, it will go up tomorrow. It's just Murphy's Law. And so I'm always really cagey about that, because while people tell you they've got long-term time frames, they certainly, in the back of their brain, while they have that best intention, if it goes down a week later or 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, you guarantee that they get this buyer's remorse and, oh, what have I done? But it was interesting talking to these people, because they had held it for that 4 to 5 year mark, and they can actually look back and reflect on it. And without fail, they said to me, you know, I was nervous when I got in that I was doing the wrong thing, and I was buying at the peak of the market. But I've had this security, irrespective of the price, I've had this security over the years, knowing that I had control, even if it was a small amount. I've had that small amount of control over my financial future. And 4 to 5 years later, the price has appreciated, and now it's allowing me to transition into the next phase of my life. Now putting that money away into a fixed, solid asset, like a physical asset, something tangible, has meant I've had that insurance policy. I can reach out and touch it whenever I want and know that it's there to back me up. But not only that, it's appreciated in price over these last 4 or 5 years, to a point now where I can start saying, well, actually, I'm looking at retirement. I've got enough there to, in some cases, a couple of people have said to me now, I've got enough there, it's appreciated enough that I could actually sell a component of it, not even all of it. I can sell a component of it and clear my mortgage and live debt free. So it's allowing me to, in one case, to step back from employment altogether and say, it's okay, I can take a few risks, I have no more debt, and I've got this backing me in case the world goes pear-shaped and what I'm planning for my next phase doesn't work out. Or in a couple of other cases, you know, I'm not going to pay off my mortgage, I'm going to hang on to it, but I know it's there. So I'm not so worried about the world, and I'm able to help my parents get along because I've sent them, you know, some of my precious metals, A, to store, but B, so they can use it if they get into trouble. So it's allowed those options, that appreciation has been there, that security has been there, and that knowledge has been there, that it's sitting there. There's also another couple of people that have come past in the last, and I don't know what's triggered it this week, but it has, in the last couple of days, that have said, we've got enough now that we're going to sell a component, like the majority of their stack, but not all of their stack, and we're actually going to purchase a nice house. Now, it's not, they're not buying the big McMansion on the bay in Sydney or anything along those sort of lines. They're just buying a basic 3-bedroom house. But they are now, because they stuck this money away into precious metals, they've had that security through the ups and downs of the last 4 or 5 years, and they can now say, hey, actually, this is going to help us leg up into the next stage of life. So the reason I'm contemplating this, the reason I'm videoing this, is to encourage new people. Now, this is a gold-related video, but it doesn't have to be gold-related. You can take this into most of the major physical assets, the ones that you can control to a large degree. If you're there and you're nervous about, am I buying at the top of the market? Is it going to go down next week? Am I doing the right thing? Am I, like, all these questions, and you ask people that probably you shouldn't ask, people that aren't experienced in these types of investments. And I'm not just talking, obviously I have a bias here, I'm a gold dealer, okay? Let's quite open about that one, I'm not trying to hide it. So it may be that you're talking to, the cousin at the family barbecue or someone at work, those types of things. Unless they've got a successful investing background, you're talking to the wrong person, and the doubts that they're putting in your mind aren't necessarily valid. So if you're sitting there going, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing this? Reflect back on previous times. And we can do this. The internet, for all its failings, the internet is very good in that you can search history. What's happened to the price of gold? What's happened to the price of property? What's happened to the price of, you can go on and on and on with these things. And actually look at the various prices over the time and what the growth has done, what people have done with those investments, how they've changed their lives, and what it's meant to them. And I think you'll find most hard assets, and yeah, okay, I'm talking about gold in this video and silver, but there are very few hard assets, physical assets, that in 10 years' time aren't of a greater value than what you paid for them. If you're in it for the short term, I'm buying today to sell tomorrow, physical gold, physical silver is probably not your thing, and you shouldn't get into it. Honestly, people make me nervous when they say they've got a time frame of less than 2 years, because the vagaries of the market and the premium that you pay above spot because of manufacturing costs, or if you're looking at property, the cost of purchasing a property or selling a property, the growth that you get over those first couple of years is not going to cover, in all likelihood, the expenses of getting into the investment. If your time frame is 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or even longer, it's very difficult to make a mistake with these things. Yeah, you might not get it 100% right. You might have been better doing this if I'd only bought a coin instead of a bar, or if I only bought a bar instead of a coin, or if I bought gold instead of silver, or silver instead of gold, or if I'd split it between the two in a different ratio, or whatever the argument is. Yeah, I'm sure you could have squeezed an extra % here, an extra % there if you'd done something slightly different. But by holding that asset, by actually committing to something for greater than that, kind of 5-year mark, it's at the 5-year mark that you tend to see the fruits of your labour, even if it's only the initial fruits of your labour. And that goes with pretty much anything in life. If you can hold on for those 5 years and not stress about the vagaries, about the fluctuations, about the you know, the bad news, the good news, the feast and famines that occur in that first 5 years. Speaking as someone who's over 50, you will find it is incredibly rare that you don't sit back and go, man, I look like a genius right now. The amount of stress I went through though when I was thinking about it is unreal. But 5 years on, I look like a genius. I don't know if this is comfort to you if you're just starting out on the journey, but take it from someone who's been around the industry and around investment pretty much all their life. It's difficult at the start. It's difficult to see the first 5 years. It's difficult to go through those, you know, I spent, doesn't matter if it's $100 or $100,000 or $1 million. It's difficult to get over that, bought it yesterday and now it's gone down today. Just punch through those emotions. Hold on for those 5 years, and invariably you'll find that this advice, this video, I can't give advice. I can't give you financial advice, and this is not financial advice. But I think you will find, in my experience, that it's worth it. And that you can look back and go, I get it. Now I get it. Now I understand. And you'll put yourself in a far better position than 98% of the rest of the population. All right, that's it for now. I will talk again very, very soon. See ya.